Hello. Let's try to make a video here and talk a little bit about tatting lace and some of the jewelry you all ask me about how I'm doing it. So since my diagrams are very bad and designed, handmade, and not as great as I wish it was and not digital, maybe a video can bridge the gap for us to do more beautiful things for yourselves. So let's get started. We're gonna talk today about the crown earrings. Tiny little guy here, quick and easy to do. For this one I used Rivoli. This is round 14mm Swarovski. Here's the reference if you need to know. Colorado Topaz was the color. We're gonna need beads. I already have them in my shuttles. This one is a crystal beads, 2mm, maybe a little smaller than 2. I actually did 30 and 30 in each one of the shuttles. The reason why we need 2 is because we're gonna need to do this floating ring over here. And for that, I prefer to use 2 shuttles instead of doing the shoelace trick, but up to you guys. That's the only reason why you would need 2. It's 1 ring only, and it's for the ring that, depending on your fitting, you won't even notice, you see? In my case here, everything got hidden by the choice I have for this. Okay, let's talk about threads. I'm using metallic thread. This one is 4 plies. I'm using Calais color 57. You can either see it in this type of spool or in this type of spool. This is the new version that they have right now in this vintage style. Really cute. I like this thread very much. Where do I buy it? I DM them directly on their Instagram page, and everything gets negotiated through there. I have also compared it with the Lisbeth 20, that the new cones that are out there now. They're also 4 plies. I think they are very similar. Maybe the Lisbeth is tiny little bit thicker, but I think it will do you great the same way. The size 40 is a 3 plies, a bit too thin for this one. 4 is best. Okay, that said, I don't have it continuous, so we're gonna start by doing the stone. To cover the stone, we need to make these rings. In this case, 7 rings. I'm only using 3 beads for each one of the rings, and you're connecting it to the bead. So it's 3 beads for the first ring, 2 beads for all the others, and then 1 bead for the very last one. What we're gonna do is 3 double stitches, 1 bead, 3 double stitches, 1 bead, 3 bead, 3 close, chain 4, picot 4. Now do your picots as tiny as you can. They're just to be able to connect. In the back, we're gonna do this second round of chain only, and if you do this too big, it will make it a little bit harder to secure it. And for everything else, everything you have here are picots for connecting only. They're none of them will be visible. So my tip for you to make it as tiny as possible. So let's get started. Okay guys, to join here, we're gonna join it to the bead. So use a very thin crochet hook. This one is size 12.6 millimeters, super tiny. I think it's clover, the smallest that they have. You want to put your crochet hook at the bottom on the inside side of the bead. Okay. made a mistake. Haha. Who has never? Bear with me. I'm gonna have to undo this ring. And careful not to do what I just did. And separate your threads and the plies within the torch. I always say I adore working with metallic threads, and the thinner the thread, the more I like it. I am very ashamed to say that my preferred size of thread is 3 plies. I know, super tiny, I get it. But when you need to undo it, you curse a lot, because they are not smooth, aren't they? Then you have to be very careful not to either break it or to remove the shiny involvement of the thread, because those are either silk or polyester depending on the brand and the composition, and they have like a treatment around the ply, which is what gives it the shine. They call it, I think it's PET involvement. Whatever it is, I love it, but I hate when I need to undo it. So hold on. Alright, we're back on track. Sorry for that. Almost done with the 7 rings, and then the fun begins. That's inspection for color, discoloration, or threads problems. I think we're fine. Okay, so for the last ring now, we're going to join to this bead and to this bead. So we only need one bead in the ring. And to the last bead, first and last. And there we have our 7 rings. And this tiny little guy here. Okay, now before we do the last chain, I always like to add the stone. Oops. Fold the chains down, and ensure that everything is covered and symmetric. It looks good. Okay, so now we can do the last chain. I'm going to do a split chain. Why? Because I'm lazy. I hate hiding ends. Those metallic threads sewing, it's not the greatest. They're tiny, so I would love to avoid as much as possible as many hiding ends as I can. And because the next round, what we're going to do is 2 join to the picot, 2 join to the picot, 2 join to the picot, meaning joining to each one of these picots here, so that we can actually close and secure the stone in place. You see, that's how it's gonna look like. So I need to get out of a picot anyways, and the split chain is a great way and a great technique to have in this case. So let's do it. If you don't know how to do a split chain, you wave half of the chain, in this case 4 double stitches. You join it where it ends if you were to have done the other 4. You leave, and put it closer. You leave a distance, a bare thread, to the equivalent, don't pay attention to my finger, to the equivalent of the space you need to work 4 stitches. You turn your work, there you have it. You turn your work, and now you're gonna do 4 stitches from here to here. How you do that? By pulling the thread from the shuttle under that bare thread, from behind to the front. Pass your shuttle through, and now from the front return it to the back, pass it through. That's stitch 1 again. From the back, underneath. Let's do it with the, so maybe you can see better. Pass it through here. Now put it back again from the back, pull it up, stitch number 2, 2 more. When either I do it or I show it to you, so it's difficult with the camera in front of me, but I hope you can see it alright. Last one. Oops, sorry for that. And there you have it. Now you have both coming out from the middle, and we are ready to start doing the second round. So how do we do that? First, we put the stone in place, and I prefer to do this while I have the stone where it's supposed to be. Why? It's a preference of mine. I think it's easier to feel the tension and ensure that you see exactly the distance from one picot to the other. I just did a lock joint there just because I want to make sure that I use this thread as the chain. When I pulled this, I already had thread into this shuttle, and I'm not sure how much I have in there, so hopefully I have enough, or we're gonna be playing chicken threads at the end. Anyways, 2 double stitches, join to this picot. I like to position my hands to pick up the picot on top instead of in the back, because I prefer to join it to the ball thread or the second shuttle thread. Why? Because I don't want to lock it. I want to be able to pull it, and I want to be able to put more resistance at the end of all the chains. That's my preference. It's personal, whatever you prefer and whatever works best for you, but I prefer to work this way. It feels natural to me. For some reason, when I taught myself to do tatting, I always said the picots have to be on top so that I pick it. I don't know, that's how my mind works. I did not have anybody to teach me how to do tatting. I learned it for myself, so sometimes I'm a bit weird with how I think about it, but it works the same. So whatever works for you, it's fine. So now we're gonna do all of those picots. Make sure you're getting through all of the threads. Sometimes they open up and you pass through 2 instead of the 4. Pay attention, and as you go you can turn. Turn your work, adjust the stone position, make sure you're not losing your grip. Little snug. Now there are 350 different ways for you to involve a fancy stone, a rhinestone, a crystal. This one is my preferred choice. The second preferred one is when you have one ring on the top, one ring in the back, and the chain in the middle. I like that one too. But this one is usually the one I go to first. Don't know why. Again, preference. I don't see a problem if you choose another way to do this, if you find that this is not as natural to you as it is to me. It's just a way. It's just my way, guys. You can adapt this to be to your liking. That's why we share how we do things, right? So that you can find your own way. Alright, so here we are. It's done. I'm going to just secure it with a tiny shoelace to ensure that I have the tension there fixed. And there you have it. Now you can always check the positions of the rings again. Make sure it looks nice and neat and symmetrical. That they are all there. And now we can move on to the next one. Now here another personal thing, right? So what we're gonna do next, we're going to do the spikes here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those. How you're gonna do that is by pulling 3 beads from the chain and 1 bead from the shuttle to do this 4 diamond shape with the beads. Okay, we're not going to put beads on top. We're gonna leave those up so that we can then later on connect the crown. So we're going to do 3 double stitches, 3 beads from the chain thread, 1 bead from the shuttle, 3 double stitches, and you're going to join them at the base of each ring we just ended. Bit tricky, I know. Takes some training, but we can do it. We're gonna do 5, and then on the top here we're just gonna do 3 picot 3, join 3 picot 3, so that the 3 rings you see here, they don't have any beads surrounding in the top. Okay, so let's do it. Now, someone would tell me, don't you have to cut ends and again cut and hide? Yes, you should. That's the neater way of doing it. Again, I told you I don't like it. I need to come up into one of these little here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a trick, and I'll just be okay with the thread coming through up here in the back. You see, it's you barely notice it, and you have it where you need it without having to cut, tie. Yeah, I know, lazy or smart, or again, just the way I do it. Don't judge. Do at your liking. Now let's start doing those 3 double stitches. Pull 3 beads, slide 1 bead, 3, 1, 3 double stitches. Maybe you need 4 double stitches. Maybe you need 2 double stitches. Check the tension of your work to see how many you need. At the end of the day, what you have to do is to cover the distance between one base to the other base of the ring in the prior row. Okay? So adjust it to what makes your work neat, and then you can connect to that base. Another tip, as you're pulling your threads, make sure the beads are positioned where you want them to be, which is right in the middle, right there, you see? One last one. Okay, so now we have the 5. I'm gonna do 3 picot, 3, and there we are. The 2 picots to join the rings from the next row, and in the middle we're gonna join the big one. Alright, so now we reverse the work. Again, I'm gonna do and I don't have it. Okay, so this is why we do things live. What happens when you run out of thread? Doesn't matter, I'm not gonna have enough anyway, so well, at least I'm showing you how I deal with things that happens all the time. So one of my favorite materials is this needle that opens in the middle. You have these big eyes. I find them the most useful things ever. Most of the beads go through them very easily. And in no time you have your beads back into your... Let me make sure that this one is also not a connection and I have enough. I don't. Again. Maybe I do. Let's see. Might need to do it again. We'll see. Okay. So now we're gonna do the crown itself. We're gonna work with 3 bead 3 bead 3, 3 bead 3 bead 3, and a ring. Now we pull 2 beads to do the first ring, which is a 2 double stitches, bead, 2 double stitches, join, 2 bead, 2 join. So 1 and 2 bead, join to that tiny picot, turn again, a chain of 4, Now a ring with 6 beads, 3 on each side. So 3 and 3 from the shuttle. Pull one more. Now we join to the center. Not to the picot, to the center, in between them, okay? Now, the other side. Two double stitches, a bead, 2 double stitches, another bead, the last 2 double stitches, and we close. Reverse your work, do that floating ring. Four, bead, 3. Pull a bead. Three, pull another bead. And 4. Close your ring. And we snap the thread. You see, it happens with the metallic thread. Let's pretend it didn't. Let's pretend it didn't so that we can finish it. Because that's all we're missing. Ideally, please undo this ring. Do it again. It's not secured. And it's probably gonna open, but for the exercise, I'll just finish the video this way. And then I'll do it myself. So now we have 4 double stitches in the chain. another ring, the last one with 2 beads. Join to the last picot. And now the last chain. The thread will be just enough to finish this. 1, 2, 3, bead. 1, 2, 3. Tighten your arcs, make sure they're like round and nice. And the last bead. Three. Connect it here. This is where it goes. Now you can cut and tie your knots. Hide your ends. Burn the thread, whatever you prefer. For this one, I'll just burn it because this is just a prototype. And with that, your crown earring is ready. You can pick and choose your beads. You can do it with gemstones. You can put bigger beads here in the middle and just adjust your counts. But it's a tiny, quick bling bling earring. Choose your findings and show off your art. I hope you like, guys. Thank you and see you next time.